me dice?
No, rotate your phone. Deja, ahí está bien ahí.
¿Comienzo?
Sí, that's fine.
Sí.
Sí,
Muy
sí.
buenos días. Good morning. This is Doug Mayorga, President of the United States Minority Chamber of Commerce. And on behalf of our business association, thank you to be with us at the wonderful, great event, the CEO Summit, the 20th edition. Here in Miami at the EBT Hotel, we have a wonderful time, a wonderful experience, but most important experience, the connectivity, and to learn how to compete with the United States federal government. And on behalf of the Chamber, I want to inform you the Chamber has a mission to promote international minority business firm. Minority business firm is the pillar of the economy of the United States. 67% of the economy in the United States is produced by minority firms. I am Doug Mayorga, I am the president and founder of the Chamber. The Chamber was founded 23 years ago. The Chamber has right now more than 35,000 members and and over 7 million trade points. What means trade point? Trade point is minority firms that buy, sell, invest in America. In America, the minority firms produce not only economy, but the most important, they are demographic. The spirit, entrepreneurship spirit of the United States, you can find inside the minority. What is the minority? Well, minority is the Latino, African American, Asian American, and women. And on behalf of the United States Minority Chamber of Commerce, thank you. I want to present very important video. I don't know if you can see it, but I want to present this video of the great man, of the great leader of the United States Minority Chamber of Commerce. Please, be my guest. Okay, we have some problem with the video, but I will pause in a little while. In the meantime, I want to inform you what the Chamber exactly produces for the community. We dedicate our effort to bring entrepreneurship to Latin American countries with the spirit of the United States. We believe that it's necessary to promote America in those countries like Colombia, Honduras, and Mexico, Dominican Republic, and we have also Ecuador and Costa Rica. The Chamber promotes the entrepreneurship through the export and import and international cooperation and the investment in the partnership, public-private partnership. The Chamber also facilitates connectivity in America. If you want to establish your business in America, we provide you not only the process you want to tend to establish your company here in the United States, we provide you to register your name, like a trademark or franchise. So if you want to establish a small business like a corporation, we do the corporation for you, the employee identification number, the Dun & Bradstreet number, and the certification as a minority business owner. But the most important, we connect you to 7 million or trade point. What means trade point is data profile. What means data profile? Database. What is the database? Well, we are the only organization in America that working inside the intelligent format. We don't waste the time, we don't waste money, we don't admit general public to be member of the Chamber. We focus our energy and our connectivity just only for elite individual. Elite individual that they have resort, that they have opportunity for any kind of counterpart in Latin American and Caribbean countries. The Chamber is dedicated that energy to provide the right information and connectivity. An example, If you want to sell lemon in the United States, we can provide you who are the buyer to buy to make purchases of lemon. It's very important to tell you that the chamber provide the cultural education. Cultural education is necessary for people to understand and realize if you want to come to America, you need to understand the culture of the United States. Don't bring your culture or your country here in America, because you will feel very bad in the relationship with American people. The chamber has also provide the opportunity how to gain contract with the federal government with the new law that we have infrastructure project more than $34 billion that they are available. Right now, the United States government declared more 2,000 projects available. They're looking for contractors and subcontractors and dealing with important company coming from Latin America to here in the United States. Remember that this contract is only for U.S. company. But if you have the ability, your experience, you can bring to America and establish partnership with some large contractor. We are intermediary between you and, of course, people in the United States. The chamber provides you security relationship through our due diligence program. Through our due diligence program, you say, okay, I need to buy or I need to invest with someone that I need to know who is that guy. We provide the right information through the IRS information, through the Department of Justice information, to the court in any county in America. We provide also with the Department of Corporation in any state. We provide also with the to review what company through the Dun and Bradstreet scenario. We provide the information of the credit of the company or the past or the history of the companies that you want to some partnership or some investment or to buy some product or to buy some companies. Actually, a couple of days ago, our Colombian delegation coming to Miami, and I give my time to them to explain what happened with the chamber in Miami and DC and Los Angeles. We are going to provide secure. If you want to invest in the United States or any city, Los Angeles, Washington, D.C., or here in Miami, remember, you need to verify first who's going to be your counterpart in America. This is number one. And number two, if you want to establish use or data profile and or due diligence program that will give you a guarantee that you will have a good time and investment. This Colombian delegation has, they are frustrated because a company here in Miami, they visit Colombia promoting investment opportunity. And more than 40 people, they invest between $50,000 to $100,000 for some project here in Miami in real estate. And you know what? That company, they receive the money and all the partners and partners disappear. And all that delegation come here to realize the dangers of the people here in Miami-Dade County and in the United States. And the people trust to people without any secure relationship. Use the due diligence program of the chamber to avoid that kind of embarrassment situation. On behalf of the people of the United States, on behalf of the private sector of the United States, not everybody is good, but we have a few that they are so good to do business with you. The chamber has a certain commitment and vision, and we are not here to waste the time. We are here to give you connectivity. And this morning, we had the opportunity and the blessing to have one of the top leaders that not only to provide a good direction of how you can transform your technology company. In that, I want to inform you that this is an excellent understanding. If you bring this technology and this skill to your scenario, to your company, believe me, you will enjoy to have a company with the latest for me, it's a great pleasure to invite Mr. Jack Neto, one of the top secretary from BKS here in Miami-Dade County. Mr. Neto, thank you very much, sir, for your kindness.
Thank you for your invitation.
It's all yours.
Okay, thank you for asking me to come by to talk with you guys and try to share my thoughts and my knowledge about media. I'm here just to open minds to share what is changing in my experience on media side, because so many things has been changing in the global market, especially on the media. All the transformation that we are seeing right now, all the big companies has been acquiring other big companies, and they has been built like even a huge media companies, such like Disney, such like you are seeing like AT&T purchase like a new companies, such like Warner, Turner, and right now Discovery, and becoming even bigger. And you think that that has been like something like as a big change that they're gonna control the media, and that's not really true. The media has been changed dramatically in the past like 10 years. If you remember, like all your marketing manager used to come by to say, hey, I have a plan. I have like a magical plan for us to spread my brand. That is like, we're gonna go for the newspaper, we're gonna go for radio, we're gonna go for magazines. And those medias has been changed a lot as well. So I'm talking about like all the changes that has been passing in the past, like I'm gonna try to go over here, it's gonna be better for me.
Yeah, it's better.
Yeah, okay. So, talking about like all the media changes, let's start about like the traditional media, such like magazines, such like newspapers, and why even cable TVs and open TVs has been collapsing right now, and all of this market has been changed. The answer is, all of the marketing has been changed, because pretty much all of the marketing people, all of the marketing departments on your own companies has been pushing to bring sales. Right now, your marketing is not like a marketing anymore that's just bring like ideas and build the brands. Right now, all the marketing from small companies, big companies, mid-sized companies, gonna be focused on make conversions. Selling products or selling service. So that means you start to push marketing to do not just do brand awareness. They start to selling products. So in the sales perspective, this kind of like a traditional media has been losing space because there is no tracking numbers to provide how many people has been purchasing one consumer product based on that media. So we noticed like 70 years ago, a big move for digital. And still, most part like the companies look like digital, just as a traditional social media digital. That is like, oh, I'm gonna do like a magical campaign. We're gonna do like conversions based on Facebook, based on Instagram, based on YouTube, and they are losing the big scope of the big change on the media companies, that everything has been changed. And you can notice all of like your marketing department come to you with ideas such, we need to build content, and that's a true story, because pretty much right now, all the brands need to build their own content. It's branded content right now. And we talk about this a lot, and we need to understand why. Because now on, the new scenario, we call we don't have like just the traditional social media in the media. That scenario grows a lot. We are talking about just US market, have like more than 3,000 streaming platforms running, commercial, running, aggressive, more than 3,000. If I talk like a big scope, like a small channels on Roku is much bigger than that. I'm talking about like the big platforms with apps and everything, running US like more than 3,000. So we are talking about like 3,000 opportunities to talk with different markets. Because most part of the platforms just here in the US are AVOD support. It's like advertising video on demand. So seeing that big scope, the media just grow a lot. And why all of those acquisitions on the media market has been happening a lot. All of those companies have been acquiring other companies because they are trying to build an ecosystem to try to be alive in the next couple of years. Because the whole media market has been changed so dramatically. Because you used to have a channel, and your channel used to have like a lot of eyeballs because it was a cable channel. But people, especially young people, are leaving the linear and cable channels to have like a different experience, that's a streaming experience, that you can watch whatever you want, when you want, and that change because this new target is on the way with a different concept. And right now, we need to find this new target in this new media. So when I'm talking about like a even bigger change, we are talking like even new media has been showing up in the market, and companies are not seeing that as an opportunity, but it is. Such a new channel, like open source, like YouTube has been released by Amazon, called Twitch. It's an amazing platform. Again, a lot of kids over there, because that has been released, and a lot of like kids involved in gaming marketing has been really deep inside of this platform. But again, these kids are growing, and those kids are producing a lot of content on that media. Again, we have right now the social media, and when we say like social media is much more than just like a platform where you can have your own profile and share like your pictures. Because we used to picture social media as Facebook, as Instagram, and that has been growing a lot. Because a kid of like 12 years old right now is a big competitor of your company. Because he posts videos on a regular basis, and his channel grows much more than your channel. And you think like, what am I doing wrong? Because my content is really amazing. I got like people with experience building my content, and why my channel do not got followers? Because you are not a regular based content provider. Because produce like content once a month, you are losing the battle between you and a 12 years old kid. Because pretty much he produces content every single day. And content appealing for his target, that's pretty much your target, because you want to reach that kid that's gonna become like your client in the future. And this kid with 12 years old is recording video with his cell phone, and you expend like a lot of money, purchase a camera, hire like a production company, and guess, you're losing the battle. Because you are thinking as like a big animal, and you are moving like slower than just a kid with a phone. So for us to bring like ideas on that conversation, we are talking about the big scope of media, as like right now, we are not going for a media as a traditional media. We are talking about like a multi-channel media. I mean, you at your company need to be aware that new media has been released every single day. So do not build like a media plan based on just traditional media. Because if you want to build up your new client database, you need to build since the scratch, where your client starts, or they start to follow you before he become enough like strong to become your client. Because you need to start them as a follower first. So you need to build your content to bring followers. So you need to start to think about like what they want to watch. And what they want to watch, bring like more an idea which kind of content that you need to build up to bring followers. An example, you are like consumer product company that you're selling shampoos. Normally, these kind of companies just want to build up the content about shampoos and that's it. But maybe lifestyle, bringing influencers, and that's a big topic, big influencers to build up your own content. All of the companies here in West are doing that a lot. Instead of to produce their own content, they are hunting like a big influencers to produce the content for them. And how interesting is that? Because that influencer posts video every single day. And he know how catch the market with his speech. And if you bring these influencers to spread your message, is more effective because he knows how got in contact with your audience. So another way to think, because before you guys, you CEOs, used to hire advertising agents to build up your campaign. Used to be amazing, like expend like a lot of money to build up like a big campaign, and that has been changed. You need to think fresh, to go for an example like influencers like that to produce content for you, and you're gonna bring these influencers to be part of the business. I'm gonna give part of the income for whatever you make transaction with. And that could be more efficient. It's a win-win situation. Again, you are playing with the media. To brainstorm even more, like I'm taking longer, my speech, I love to talk about this topic. But we talk about like so many changes in the media market, and that has been amazing change. And we need to always keeping our mind totally open. But a couple things are like just being released. And us as a company, we need to keep the mind even more open for that. Such like a metaverse. Metaverse is a media? Yes and no. If you ask your son about this, about metaverse, he could not take a metaverse as a media. He's gonna take it as a reality. In us, as like old people, right? We're gonna think like come on, like that's a video game or something like that. And your son gonna answer to you, no, that's real, Dad. I go there, I purchase stuff on metaverse. And come on again? Your purchase what, like a toy in metaverse? No, I purchased like a clothes in metaverse for my avatar. And like, come on again? And we need to open our mind. Not right now. If we're gonna be in metaverse, it's like more when we're gonna be in metaverse. How we're gonna be in metaverse. And all of the new, besides metaverse by itself, there is a lot of like virtual realities coming in. And our need to be ready for that. Because as part of the media market, I have been learning that those changes that happening 10 years ago, they're happening faster right now. Next year, maybe in the metaverse, it will be not like a maybe, gonna be like oh, you are not in metaverse? Oh, sorry, you are out of market. And maybe just like that decision, if I go or not in metaverse could be the decision maker between you are in the market or you are not in the market. So, being clear for everyone. I'm trying to shape you guys as like the decision makers, as the CEOs, to understand when like someone in your marketing team come with a magical idea. Oh, we need to launch like a store in metaverse, and you say like meta what? You need just to understand that that's not like something that your marketing team just like invent by the hat. It's something that everyone is asking for. The same reality that metaverse has been launched, other gaming companies has been launched as well. And that comes as well like with a different reality that is like even the digital coins or the new NFTs has been growing a lot. Why? Because metaverse and virtual realities has been increasing a lot. This kind of possibilities for us. Again, it's all media because it's all media related. So imagining right now there is gaming companies. I'm not quite sure if everyone knows about gaming companies, but it's good to know. There's gaming companies right now. When your son, your daughter go in the gaming and put a VR or even play online and spend hours and you knock the door and a couple of times he comes to you and say hey dad, can I have your credit card just to purchase a couple of points because I need to purchase assets for me on this new game. And a couple of times they purchase assets and such coins that tomorrow he got money with that. Because the money of this gaming company start to make a daily different rate as international currency do have. And no way. So my kid purchased a digital coin from game, and right now, yes, there is games. I'm exploring just for you to marinate that. There's games such the League of Legends. That's a big game from Riot Games. That's one of the biggest publishers here in the US as well. Riot Games have this game. And people can create their own skin, means the whole clothing and stuff, and he can purchase that. And after, he can sell it for a big amount of money. And that has been crazy for us as companies realize that something that's virtual right now can be sold. Okay, so we are talking about scary things about the future, that maybe our company could be 100% online. And think about this. With the pandemic, a lot of realities have been changed. Most probably you start to do the Zoom meetings every single day. I love it to do the Zoom meetings. Because right now you don't have a break between meetings. You have a meeting each 15 minutes. I believe that everyone here do have meetings each 15 minutes. It's a lot of fun. You don't have even time between those meetings. And even to do a follow-up, there is no. But imagining in a short time reality that you can do your meetings in person, face to face, through metaverse. You can go for your office and have a meeting with your whole team all together, have a sit in the table in your virtual office and talking about the new targets for next quarter. And face to face, you're going to see, of course, the avatar face of your colleague, all right? But they're going to be virtual and as well face to face. Look how crazy is that? It's better than Zoom meetings? Probably yes, because you have interaction. Right? There is no you are really seeing the people face to face. Events. Are you gonna fly to Shanghai to do a big event, or maybe everyone could be online and still in the same way that traditional way we do, we can chat and talk with everyone interacting virtually and see each other and hey, how's it going? A long time I do not see you, and virtually. And that's a reality, it's not a future anymore. So, the last topic about media that I need to talk is again, the reality that everyone needs to have content more than ever. Doesn't matter if it's a metaverse still need the content. You need still screens inside of metaverse. But if you go for a real word, there's no right now a fake word, but I'm talking about the word that we figure that's real, right here. You are facing a new change for media in the real world. That is, if you go in the mall, you're gonna see screens everywhere. If you go in the store, you're gonna see screens everywhere. And each screen have like a content. Why? To engage people, to show how they use that product, to show how they fit that clothes, to understand how he gonna behave better with that service, or something like that. This calls in the marketing, American markets, as screenification. We are facing that, a screenification for everything. So that's a new opportunity of media as well, because your brand, your consumer product could be changed for an screenification process where you can have a better screen for your consumer products, an example. Right now it's not a maybe, it's not that if I need to, you need to, because these new targets, this new generation, your son, your daughter, right, gonna have this in mindset. If you go in the store, a traditional store, and saw like a consumer product without a way to see how that works, how good it is, to see like the influencer wearing that clothes, that's the new screenification. And there's a lot of movies that showing me that happening to us as like a maybe future that right now it's a reality. I love movies because movies brings to me like something that is really appealing to happen. And we're gonna see that soon, such like a face recognition, where you go in the store, there's a face recognition, say, hey, welcome Jake, so we have like right now your new plus size for you, because I got fat, sorry. But it's about that. You know, like you can pretty much understand the whole behavior of your client and have like a screen. Talk directly with your client, with his behavior, understand his behavior, and offering something customized for your client. I believe that's gonna be that for my participation right now, my shared thoughts. I appreciate the time of you guys. If you need something like, we can touch base by email as well. My company is like Studio BKS, like you can find out us like in the web, studiobks.com. And my email address is jake.nito@studiobks.com. Feel free to send a like email for us to share like thoughts about media.
Okay, I want a question. Thank you very much for his presentation. You have questions, sir, Mr. Navarro?
Oh, sure.
Well, first I want to thank you, Doc, for the invitation, and to tell you that this topic is very, very, very exciting.
That is.
So I will say that some of you guys, raise your hand if you play Fortnite. Did you play Fortnite? I did. With a bunch of kids, right?
Yeah.
When you are aleatory, you get a lot of kids coming, and you learn. My background is in electronic. I used to program in assembler, 1886, 1880. That was a long time ago, right? And I started programming with the small cars. And this is amazing. Your topic is amazing. I write a lot of things here. One is the disruptive market. I think that's the conclusion of your topic for me.
Right.
Because when we used to talk about what is disruptive, when you started with the bicycles a long time ago, that was a disruptive. People was in horses. Somebody came with a round thing and did the bicycle, right? Then you can talk about the automobile, many technology, and they used to be called, I got a book from my dad that maybe is 60 years old, that book was Communications. In that book, it started with the bicycle. So communication was a bicycle instead of the horse. That was the change, the disruptive change in that time. Then came the technology, as we know right now, that is digital technology, or analog technology and digital technology. You talk about VOD, video on demand. I don't think that my dads even have a clue of what is that, what could be that. And this is the moment right now, virtual video on demand
A new reality right now.
is one of the topics, right? New reality, you mentioned. So we can call it disruptive innovation. And where we're gonna stop, we don't know. It's amazing. Every day I'm learning. I got 2 videos from Netflix last 4 or 5 days. And everything is related to what you just explained to us. 1995, Clayton Christensen talked about disruptive innovation. 1995 is just 20 years ago. And nobody knew what is that. What is that about? What are we talking about? What is disruptive? Everything is disruptive right now. My kids, every single day comes with something new. NFT, amazing. So NFT could be, I'm very practical, sorry. And I have questions for you, so.
No, take your time.
But it's so exciting, this topic. This could be an NFT. And this is my avatar in Zoom.
Oh, no, you lost.
Okay? Yeah, I need to see the camera, right? But let me look at the pictures. So this is your picture, but could be an avatar.
Could be another.
An NFT is a digital picture. And have cryptocurrency built in kind of thing because it have value. So now you have a picture of yourself, could be handmade, come digital, signature as a crypto, and have a value. Today could be $1,000, tomorrow could be 30,000. My smallest kid that is 21 got one NFT for 800 and sold it for 3,000 in 24 hours. Who can make that money with a drone? It's amazing. It's stupid. It's amazing. You know, it's a new here. It's a new thing, and technology is bringing that. So my question here, and it's a big challenge for you as a content provider or integrator, how can we create an accountability? How can we make money as a companies? All these companies going together, how can they make accountable their companies with the content? That would be my question.
That's a good question. And I kind of like,
How can we monetize?
no, I'm gonna push in different directions. Just for you to understand my point of view. What the business of Disney? Pretty much the business of Disney as a company, it is content. But content become different business. So the content by itself can be monetized in different way. Talk about the concept of like Disney. When Disney release a new movie, I love like a topic about Disney is like Frozen. They release like a Frozen movie, and they forecast what could be the impact of Frozen as a movie on the retail market. So imagining, we are talking like a movie. Just a movie by itself, there is a different ways to monetize. You can go for theatrical, and you can sell the tickets to watch that movie, all right? After that, you can monetize to go for transactional. Okay, that's a brand new release, but I want to watch it. I can pay to watch it, like a transactional. Or I can pay like a streaming service to watch it. Or I'm just like a Disney by itself, but I license for Netflix. And Disney got money from Netflix as a license fee to air just the content. But the content become a different animal. That is like an example, licensed merchandise. So I'm talking about like right now, like just as an example of like Disney, and after that I'm gonna go over other, but Disney planify of the launch of Frozen globally. It was the big success of Disney and the big fail of Disney in planning as well. Because they launched Frozen with a forecast. Oh, we're gonna sell like a $5 million, that million like customs of like Frozen, and they forecast and they order in advance from China and send like the merchandise all over the globe to be prepared for the launch. And they launch the content. But look how interesting is that. The content spread so fast, more aggressive than they had been talking and thinking about that in the first 2 weeks, all of the stores around the globe has been short. And they need to re-storage all of stores with the consumer products. So they order right away, coming by plane, not by by boat anymore, and they storage all the stores and all the merchandise gone again. They got crazy and they order like a huge amount of items to storage and to fit the demand, and they send a lot of boats full of merchandise of Frozen all over the globe. And guess, comes an event called over license, because everyone purchased the first wave, the second wave. When they storage it, overloaded the storage, the stores with the merchandise, nobody wants the items anymore. So that's important topic just for you to understand how you can monetize and how you need to be prepared to make a monetization with the content. But as like a regular company, we are not Disney. How we can monetize with the content? That's your question.
The small company, what they're gonna do?
Okay. There is different ways for you to monetize with the content. First of all, branded content, creating content to clarify your clients how to use your products, how important is for your clients to purchase your product, because there's a difference between a client know what your product do, or you create a needed for that. Pretty much just for you to understand, if you produce something that you can see on a regular basis in the retail market, you're gonna just show up your new product and you're gonna explain, look, I have the same product here, you can purchase from me, but you can create a need. I'm gonna explain that. That's really awesome to explain, because a couple of times you have like a really unique product, such oh, I have a new way. I love Tesla's commercial, Tesla's before, all right? Why I do need a Tesla that I'm gonna pay 50% more than just a regular basic car? And we create a need for that. We showcase Tesla as two things. First of all, you're gonna be an eco person. After, Tesla become a way for you to be different of everyone. If you have a Tesla, you are again, you are something else. You are a cool person, you are rich because Tesla costs a lot of money. And right now, Tesla as a brand have a unique brand. If you put Tesla in anything, that's gonna be solid, because right now, Tesla become a brand that show the lifestyle, right? So Tesla create a lot of content to show the people that drive a Tesla could be an experience. And that's the way for small companies, even bigger companies, create a need for a new product. So I'm not quite sure if I answered your question.
Well, it's complicated. It's
That's
very
complicated. That's a long
and
answer.
evolving.
That's a long answer, right?
Yeah. So thank you very much. Also, the metaverse became popular after 1992. I was researching Wikipedia, and metaverse is going to be something that we're going to hear, I guess, for the next 5 years. So thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you. No.
Okay, thank you, Bert. We continue to the second part that is very important for the chamber. We are very excited to present one of the top leaders in the Department of Energy, the acting director of a small business acquisition of the Department of Energy, Mr. Paul Rose. Ladies and gentlemen, for me it's a great pleasure to present one of the top leaders in the federal government inside the Department of Energy, Mr. Paul Rose. Mr. Paul, thank you, sir, for the opportunity to be with us.
Thank
today.
you, sir.
If you want to start with your presentation.
Yes, I will.
And all of you, and when you're finished, I will discuss with you personally. Thank you.
All right. So first of all, welcome to the Minority Chamber of Commerce here. My name again is Paul Ross. I'm the Principal Deputy Director of the Office of Small and Disadvantaged Business Utilization. In the absence of a director, I act as the director. We currently have our new director in Ron Pierce, who has been on the job for about 4 months. We're stationed in Washington, D.C. is where our headquarters are, and I'm physically in Denver, Colorado. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and give you some highlights into the Department of Energy. I've been with the Department of Energy, first of all, for about 10 years. I've been with the Office of Small and Disadvantaged Business Utilization for about 8 years. And there's that weird acronym, you'll hear me refer to it as the OSDBU. So if you hear the OSDBU, that's what it stands for, Office of Small and Disadvantaged Business Utilization. The other thing I want to start with the end in mind, and that is our website that will have a lot more information than I am possibly able to give you here. And if you look down in the bottom left-hand corner, you will see our website, which is the smallbusiness.energy.gov. And that will give you access to a large amount of information and also access to different opportunities. But what I want to do right now in terms of giving you an overview is to allow you to see exactly what the Department of Energy does, a little bit of its history, and if you will, yes, a little bit of its history. We'll talk a little bit about DOE and the NNSA, National Nuclear Security Agency, which is, for lack of a better phrase, an agency within an agency. So while we have the Department of Energy, the NNSA acts as a more or less separate energy inside, or separate agency inside the Department of Energy. It is part of the Department of Energy, but it does almost act as a major agency for the federal government. If it stood alone, it probably would be like the 6th largest agency in the federal government. So I also go over a little bit of the budget. I'll go over the some of the challenges, the unique operating system of the Department of Energy, some of the barriers that you will experience when operating or trying to do business with the Department of Energy. And then I will also speak a little bit about the bipartisan infrastructure law, which you will hear people talk about it as the bill, even though it's passed. The bipartisan infrastructure law and some of the monies and the funds that the Department of Energy will be receiving as a result of that. Next slide, please. So real quickly, here's what the history and the mission of the Department of Energy, and this is one of the slides I will read at the very top, ensures America's security and prosperity by addressing its energy, environmental, and nuclear challenges through transformative science and technology solutions. This is basically what the Department of Energy does in terms of its overall mission. There's multiple missions inside of there, and we do refer to it as our missions. So let me go on to the next slide. And in certain portions of it, I will slow down in order for you to grasp a lot of it. This is the map of the Department of Energy and the NNSA site. And what you will find is that we have different offices, we have laboratories, we have cleanup sites from the nuclear waste period when we were in the very early stages of developing nuclear weapons. And so some of that cleanup and waste material in these various different locations has been ongoing since that period of time, and will continue to go on to try to clean up that area and then give it back over to the actual local state and or areas where that different things that have taken place. While these various different sites that you have, we're not only talking about offices, we're also talking about the power administrations. There's multiple different power administrations, and it's not color-coded on this map, but there are about 4 major areas. In the top northeast, that is not Department of Energy. They decided to stay separate and run their own energy by themselves. But what we have is for example, we have the Bonneville Power Administration, which would be up in the upper left-hand corner. We have what we refer to as WAPA. You'll hear these names. So for example, if you hear a term like WAPA, it's called Western Power Administration. And so these different power administrations, they create energy, they resell it back, they generate revenue. And so you have different pools and pots of money inside federal government, and in particular the Department of Energy. So with our power administrations, while they create and make money through their investments and selling of energy, this is non-taxpayer funds. So this is called revenue generating, revenue that these particular power administrations have. And then we also have the other pool of money, which is taxpayers' funds. And in the general sense that you have with the Department of Energy, we receive in federal allotments going into, let's say, fiscal year 21-22, over $40 billion. And that is the monies that will be spent on a multitude of things, but there is that procurement base. And what we have, and I'm going to roughly figure about $40 billion, you'll find that probably about 36 of it will be spent on contracts. The other portion is to pay salaries and different things of that nature that are not the procurement base. You'll hear terms like the procurement base. So in that procurement base, what we have is, in this case, around 36 to $40 billion going into fiscal year 22 and 23. That does not include the billions of dollars from the bill, the bipartisan infrastructure law. That bipartisan infrastructure law said to DOE, you will get over $60 billion. So while we talk about $40+ billion for fiscal year 22, what we're talking about in addition to that is over $63 billion, which will be about $18 billion that will be coming to the Department of Energy during fiscal year 22. In fiscal year 23, we'll get another $18-19 billion. So that 60-something odd billion dollars, $63-64 billion, will be spread over 3 years, in addition to our regular budget that we get that is over $40 billion. So go figure. Now, with that $18 billion that we're talking about for fiscal year 22, some of that will be grant and cooperative agrees types of awards. So when I say grant awards, it's a different type of contracting environment. There are grants that are given, as you may know, and that's a different avenue for that revenue stream. A lot of people understand the contracts. They don't understand, grants that will help businesses and or different cities and government entities that the energy department may be helping out. As an example, Detroit has problems maybe with its sewer system and water flow or what have you. So the Department of Energy may grant money to the Detroit to help them upgrade their system. So that's a grant. And it's maybe what we refer to as a different color money. It's not the taxpayer dollars, it's kind of grant money. It is the taxpayer dollar, I apologize. But it's a different contract revenue stream that is not the mainstream of contracts that we do. So there's more contracts as opposed to grants in terms of what the Department of Energy does. So with that, let's just go on to this slide here. And I wanted to give you an overview of the org chart in the Department of Energy. As you know, in the top or middle section right up under the Office of the Secretary, if you can see, it says the Office of the Undersecretary for Infrastructure. That is a new portion of a department or inside the Department of Energy to basically manage the $18 billion we will get in order to award grants. They're hiring people. Right now, the Department of Energy is hiring over 100,000 people, okay, in order to just help out with the bipartisan infrastructure, the energy new wave of what's going on inside the Department of Energy. Now, I will point out that inside the Department of Energy, we have the Office of Small and Disadvantaged Business Utilization, which is really hard to see here. But if you look on the far right bottom, the very last one, you'll see the Office of Small and disadvantaged business utilization that reports directly to the secretary. And that's very key. That department and these departments report directly to the secretary and or undersecretary. And what happens is it allows them to have a voice with the secretary to say, hey, here's what we need in order to support small businesses and what have you. So we'll go on to the next slide here. Now, you heard me talk a little bit about the budget. Now, one of the reasons you see me, we're in fiscal year 22, and I've got this fiscal year 21. One of the reasons is because, as you know, there was a delay in getting the funds for fiscal year 20 through 22 because of what we had with the, they call it continuing resolution. When the budget is not passed, we continue to operate under the previous budget. And so by the time the budget did pass, I have not updated this chart, but 21 that gives you an idea where our money goes. So of the $40+ billion in this example, as you can see, 43%, almost half of it goes to NNSA, National Nuclear Security Administration. And then another large portion of it, which is about 34%, goes to science and energy. Now, and these are direct reports that, 23% are all the different offices, like you may have Office of Small and Disadvantaged Business Utilization. You'll have the loan department. You have different departments that make up that 23%. And so where you see where the monies are in science and energy and NNSA, and that new element that's going to come online with funds, and that's the bipartisan infrastructure law, is going to take up another additional percent that is separate from this budget here that you see. So this is where the dollars are, and you hear me, I'm going to jump to it a little bit, but most of the dollars that you see that are spent through the Department of Energy are spent through subcontracting, and we'll talk a little bit about that. What do you mean by subcontracting? And that is because the Department of Energy has quite a few different labs, sites, power administration, and so you may have a lab that has a 30-year contract, and it may be $1 billion a year going into that lab, and they get that money, and then they do a lot of subcontracting, and that's where some of the difficulty comes in with doing business with the Department of Energy. So let's flip to here's the next slide here, and what we have here is this is a unique, very operating system, and it's really funny that we use that word unique, because every agency could walk in from the federal government and say, we're unique, you know, and so they all do things a little bit different. They're buying a lot of different things in order to support their agency, and yet there are some similarities that we have, you know, when it comes to cybersecurity, safety, and that type of thing. But overall, they all have their separate missions. So what's unique about the Department of Energy? First of all, we have 2 senior procurement executives, and what is that? That is a delegation that is given to, let's say, and call him the contracting czar of the Department of Energy. Well, we have 2 of them. Remember, I kind of talked about NNSA almost being like a separate agency in an agency. So we have a senior procurement executive for the National Nuclear Security Administration, and then we have one for the rest of DOE. So that's very unique inside any agency, I think, because we may be one of the only ones that has 2 different senior procurement executives. We have the heads of contracting activities. So from the senior procurement executive, he delegates authority for the, we call them HCAs, the head of the contracting activities, and what they are in these multiple different locations throughout the United States where they're buying something that is peculiar to that area or that particular mission. They are a head of the contracting activity, and they have warrants in order that authorizes them to buy and procure various different items for that particular location. Now, SBA procurement center representatives, a lot of times when an agency is doing business, they have to communicate with SBA, Small Business Administration. And when we go out to do some type of activity, let's assume it's some type of contract that is over a certain dollar threshold, or we're trying to combine contracts, or we're trying to do certain things, we have to get approval from SBA on various different things. And in this case, because DOE is so large, we have multiple SBA procurement representatives based on their areas. And so SBA has multiple different areas. They may cover, you know, area 1, 2, and 3, and area 1 may be up north by New York, area 2, Washington, D.C., Virginia area. And so they oversee the activities that we do and for approvals and to almost like a watchdog to make sure we're in compliance and in support of small businesses. Now, where we have, let's go back to the previous slide. My apologies here. Over 20 different acquisition forecasts. This is going to be one of the challenges that I'll speak a little bit about, because you say, you know, why do you have so many different forecasts to tell you about the opportunities? Because we have so many different locations. and we have so many companies coming in maybe to run a laboratory or a cleanup site, that we're talking billions of dollars, and we've got a major corporation running that, how do they announce their opportunities? Well, it's one of these 20 sites that they post their opportunities on for subcontracting opportunities. Now, we have a major forecast link on our webpage that deals with the forecast for prime awards. But when you're talking about a laboratory or cleanup site or an effort to do subcontracting, that's where that major corporation is posting those opportunities. Now, we have a link on our homepage, but it does become a challenge trying to find the various different subcontract opportunities, because somewhere between 60 to 80% of that procurement base that I spoke about, that is about $30 billion of the $40 billion, that procurement base of $35 billion, 60 to 80% of that is going to be spent on the labs and the management and operating facilities. So that's why it's so important to know about these multiple different forecasts. That's where the subcontract and most of the opportunities are in the Department of Energy. And when we talk about the M&Os, you'll hear a lot about, if you go into the Department of Energy, about M&Os. So that's management and operating sites, and that's where they're running laboratories during testing, and it's just a variety of different activities at the variety of different labs that we have. But over and all, there are 37 different site facility management contracts, and that includes the cleanup sites, and that includes various different sites within Department of Energy. But the most important thing that you hear about is the M&Os. That's how we refer to them, as the M&Os. Now, the small business program managers, because we're such a large agency, there are over 80 different small business program managers. And what does a small business program manager do? A small business program manager is the one that has the expertise and the knowledge of that location. And so where there might be a large laboratory along with a government located jointly in that area, like Albuquerque or in Tennessee, you'll have multiple different small business program managers to help you with prime awards, to help you with the subcontracting in order to explain the points of contact. So we even have a directory that will give you the points of contact. It's updated about every other month because we do have people being elevated, and so that is available on our website that I mentioned earlier, smallbusiness.energy.gov. And so what I would like to do is to also point out that half of those 80 are government employees, the other half are contractors that are, working for that laboratory or that major contractor that is overseeing that laboratory. The DOE Mentor Protege Program is a great program where the large businesses mentor small businesses, and they have an ability to, for lack of a better phrase, to obtain contracts in support of that Mentor Protege program that gives them a competitive edge in the opportunities that we list inside DOE. So it's to an advantage of a large business to be a mentor to a small business, to be a mentor to a small business, as we refer to as a protege, that help them to understand invoicing even, and administrative, and dealing with the Department of Energy, because it's such a large organization. And so this is one of the things that really kind of helps small businesses maneuver their way into the Department of Energy. And let's go to the next slide, please. And I apologize for spending so much time on that one, but that's one of the things that is very important to the understanding the Department of Energy and how it's kind of operated. So the OSDBU mission, Office of Small and Disadvantaged Business Utilization, mission and commitment. We try right off the bat, very simple mission, is to maximize contract opportunities for small businesses while advancing the agency's mission. And then here's what we do to commit ourselves to supporting that effort. There's a variety of activities that go on. I won't read in the slide, but basically, OSDBU, what do? We support small business in doing business with the Department of Energy. So let's go to the next slide, please. So how do we do that in terms of commitment? We try to simplify doing business with the Department of Energy. If you were to contact the Department of Energy and the OSDBU office, we will try to simplify that by showing you and directing you to small business program managers at that site that can help you do business with NNSA, as opposed to Oak Ridge, Tennessee, as opposed to the Power Administrative. So that is how we try to help simplify and explain the magnitude, and I'm not even touching, the magnitude of doing business with the Department of Energy in this discussion, but you contact our office, that's one of our main missions, to simplify doing business with the Department of Energy. Another thing is to maximize small business opportunities. While we try to make sure and doing oversight and looking at some of the awards that are being made at certain dollar thresholds for certain requirements and that we have, we try to make sure that those opportunities are set aside for small business, and if they're not, subcontracting opportunities, to even maximize those subcontracting opportunities. We know that when we have an M&O, management and operating site contractor, that's probably going to get a contract for, let's say, 30 years, $1 billion a year. Small business would cease to be a small business from the first invoice being paid. They would become a large business based on the criteria that determines a small or a large business. So what we try to do is try to maximize small business subcontracting opportunities, and the contract that they're awarded by saying, hey, will you more or less be able to do subcontracting to small business, women-owned, hub zone, different types of socioeconomic categories, and what goals you will try to achieve. That's what the OSBU does, to try to help oversee that and make sure that we're maximizing those small business opportunities. Another thing is to try to also, in that same category, is maximizing the small business awards through small and prime awards. So we're going to go ahead and go to the next slide. You heard me talk a little bit about the dollars here, and this reason where we talk about 2020, 2021. And every agency will get a small business scorecard. We have yet to receive, and I'm not knocking Small Business Administration, the magnitude of trying to calculate and what goes into determining what you did, in this case in 2021, is major. There's a lot of data that's run, there's a lot of discussion that's going on. Well, you didn't count this, you did count that, you may be, giving us credit for that type of thing. So in 2021, we project we'll probably be having awarded to small businesses for fiscal year 21 over $9 billion. And that is a portion of the procurement base, as you can see, that goes to small business. And that includes prime and subcontracting altogether. So over the years, you can see where we've increased, going from fiscal year 2015 to doing a award of about $5.7 billion just to small businesses in 2015. We're talking about, and it's not on here, fiscal year 21 being over $9 billion right now. And in last year, or fiscal year 20, we were at about 8.7 billion. We knew we were getting close to $9 billion. So this is just a glimpse of what the Department of Energy does in terms of supporting small business and the awards that it makes to small business. Let's go on to the next slide, please. Okay, so let's talk about some of the barriers in the Department of Energy. What is that wall, that ceiling that precludes small businesses or hinders small businesses for doing business with the Department of Energy now? So safety, security, and cybersecurity. You can say that for just about everything, whether it is for the federal government, whether it's for private sector, whether it is for your home. So one of the things about safety, that because it's such a challenge, is that when you're doing business with one laboratory, or you're doing business with a site, or you're doing business with the power administration, the safety requirements are different. So it's not only that the safety requirements are complicated in and of themselves. You go to transition that effort over to another location, that safety requirement would be totally different. For example, when you're with the power administration, you're up in the mountains, up in the woods, you're running lines, you're dealing with animals, you're dealing with all kind of risks that you will not experience in the inner city. You're at a lab, there's a bunch of security to get past that, security office, or that, and then getting on and dealing with the safety that they require is totally different from running power lines anywhere in America and what have you, dealing with the power. So that's why safety becomes such a major issue inside the Department of Energy. Now, security also, especially with our laboratories. And with our laboratories, I mean, there's security I can't even talk about. There's security they won't even, I have a limited amount of security approvals Therefore, I only have access to certain things. And there are certain small businesses, for example, that become mentors, that even can become a protege. You don't have to be a large business. That's what's unique about Department of Energy. If you wanted to be a mentor of another small business, you could do that. And there are certain small businesses that I can't even talk about. Whether they get an award or not, in terms of, we do annual awards every year for very successful small business, they can't even compete for those awards because of what they do is so secure that they can't even talk about it. But the thing about it is what it is that the security that we have in the Department of Energy. I remember maybe about 10 years ago, and how true this was, to this day, I'm not heavy into security, but I noticed that my computer was getting slow. And as I was getting help over the line, I said, I don't know what's going on here. My computer's slowing down and everything. I said, well, one of the things is security. We're talking cybersecurity now. We're talking about, 10 years ago, this is what was said to me. Well, the reason it's getting slower is because the cybersecurity. And back then he said, we have over 1 million attempts a day to break behind the firewall to try to steal technology in the Department of Energy. And that's why cybersecurity, even back then, was so important, more so than I would know. And so I backed off of complaining about how slow my computer was getting, with understanding the magnitude of what was going on. So with those types of things, we have the multiple forecasts. Is another thing you've already heard me address, that we have different opportunities being identified different ways. So what do you mean by that? If you go to one laboratory, they may tell you, send us your capability statement, and we'll put you in a database, and we have an opportunity that matches your capability statement, we'll send you that opportunity. Another one may say, fill out this form. Fill out this form, and we will contact you based on the information you give. Others will just post all their opportunities right there, and you just apply for it. So that it's not only that there are multiple forecasts and how a company runs business, it's that even to access opportunities might even be different. Okay? And so that's why it can be a challenge in doing business with the Department of Energy from a multiple forecast perspective. Subcontracting opportunities, you heard me talk about. The magnitude of business inside the DOE is the major efforts are, or the major revenue stream is doing subcontracting. And like I said, it's not easily transferable. The experience you may get from a laboratory in Tennessee may not really transition to a laboratory in Albuquerque or some other place, or dealing with the power administration. The total contract value along with the technical requirements are kind of going hand in hand. And one of the things that we find in the Department of Energy where, and I don't want to single out any other agency, where another agency may be buying, let's assume, some type of resource. And let's just take, what's a good one? Let's say construction. It's a bad example, okay? But because the Department of Energy has such a large budget, while that construction effort may have gone to a small business in another agency, because of the technical requirements we have for that construction, build this laboratory or extend this wing on this lab, and here are the technical requirements, and it's also going to be a total contract value probably in the billions of dollars or hundreds of millions of dollars. That's why the level of difficulty in doing business with the Department of Energy is extreme, because of the technical requirements that we have are a lot more enhanced, and the total contract value is higher than the average contract, even for that same type of requirement when you lump it in the topic of construction, for example. Let's go into the DOE mission. As you know, we have multiple different missions. When you heard me say we got the power administration, we got the laboratory, and one laboratory is doing a whole lot of different things and testing and what have you, as opposed to another one. So those are the different missions that we have. So on to the next slide. So here is an example of some of the things that they're trying to do with the bipartisan infrastructure law. As you notice that some of these announcements, you have a link right here where they're doing the different announcements in terms of acquiring resources. Here are some of the links. As you can see, these are some of the things that were coming down in February and in March. And sometimes these announcements, while with the bipartisan infrastructure, you may have those coming in real fast because this was just passed. But some of our efforts that exist they start 3 to 5 years in advance and start doing research in that agent, in that department, in that office to how they're going to procure these types of things. So the lead time, sometimes when you see, and you'll hear people say this, if you see something announced on a forecast, you're late. That doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to guarantee that you're going to be late, but there's a research that you have to do even before it hits the street. For example, if you have access to FedBiz Ops, and there's quite a few different links that go on with the federal government to access different information, that if that contract is coming up for renewal, if it was a 5-year contract, you may need to know that, and to know, not wasting your time, that they are going to recompete it. They're not going to recompete construction. It's once they build it, it's done. But there is certain services that they do that they recompete, and you would need to know a little bit about it and trying to find and get access to the current contract as much as you can to find out exactly what was going on. But with this is a link we have right now about the bipartisan infrastructure. I would advise you to look at this link as one of the links that would allow you to find out more about what's going on at the Department of Energy. So here's my last slide, once again, and this is to thank everyone for listening in to what I presented here. But I also would like to encourage you that if you want to know more about the Department of Energy, I'm telling you, I have just barely touched on some of the information you could receive. So what I want to say is, if you can contact that website that was on the bottom left-hand side, smallbusiness.energy.gov. You can call our office. We'll set up a consultation with you. We'll tell you all about different documents we'll give you in order for you to access information and kind of walk you through some things. And that's our customer service aspect in terms of the OSDBU office to help you understand. So that's kind of a summary of what we do here in the Department of Energy and trying to make it easier for small businesses to do business with the Department of Energy.
Thank you, Mr. Paul. It's a great pleasure to have you today. And on behalf of the United States Minority Chamber of Commerce, we are humbled to tell you that we're working with the Department of Energy since 2007. We have different speakers, including your last director, Mr. John Hall. And for me, it's a big honor to have you today.
Thank you.
Sure. And I want to do a question and answer on behalf of the chamber. This is a business scenario. To start the project, if any minority business firm that the size of the company, if I am a micro business, but I am in the construction side, and especially I dedicate for roof and for ceiling and all that stuff in the construction scenario. If I am micro business without any experience to do business with the federal government, to do business with the Department of Energy, tell us what are the first steps that individual need to do to get an opportunity to be registered with the Department of Energy?
It's a great question.
Yes.
Because there's multiple different phases. Let's first take the phase that you have not done business with the federal government. So you need to register with the federal government, acknowledge what your social economic category is, and then you're eligible to do business with the federal government. So in order to be eligible to do business with the federal government, you have to basically register. If you're a foreign company, that's a little bit different, but let me just get into, once assuming that you're able to register or partner with some company that will, you may be able to subcontract with or partner with, and let's assume that you're ready to do business, and now you want to do business with the Department of Energy. I would recommend you call our office. 202-586-7377. And I'll repeat that again, 202-586-7377. And what will we do at our office? We'll set up a meeting with you. We'll go over how to do business with the Department of Energy. We'll give you a directive with the small business program managers. We'll show you where the forecast is. We'll talk about a few of the opportunities. We'll talk about our homepage that will show you events where we do training sessions. And because of COVID, as you know, we've been doing a lot of hybrid type and virtual events where we walk you through not only doing business with the Department or the federal government, but the Department of Energy. So we will walk you through that, but the first thing you should do is contact our office. and we can just have someone set up, and that you'll be amazed about the wealth of information that you have. And you can go to our website, and you can even fill out a little form that'll contact the customer support services, and they'll get back in contact with you. And we have a live chat, more or less, that you're probably familiar with, a chat bot, where you can just listen to them. You don't even have to talk to somebody, it just gives you the very basics. But that information, and to your question is, contact our office. You try to contact one of those small business program managers, you try to contact one of those labs, you'll be all over the place, and we can kind of help, manage that direction for you.
You can contact also the United States Minority Chamber of Commerce with that particular process. The Chamber has a set of commitment to provide the channel and all the steps to get an opportunity to be registered with the U.S. Department of Energy. What's happening if the company is located in Miami and you don't have office, or any city in the United States that you don't have, the Department of Energy don't have any office?
Yes, as you saw my map that I had up there, if you look up in there's a couple of states that we may not have presence in as far as the Department of Energy. And I will tell you that in the experience that I've worked with the federal government, that most locations where the federal government is, and let's take Florida, okay? And let's take, for example, two scenarios. One is we have presence in the Florida area where there is the Department of Energy. That office is probably going to be looking towards a company that does business and is registered in Florida. It is what it is. And the Small Business Administration is going to try to do the same thing. I want to kind of keep that business in Florida. So now we're talking about the other scenario where you're in a state where the Department of Energy does not actually exist, but you're interested in an opportunity in another state where the Department of Energy is. There's a couple of different processes that we would recommend. Once again, talking to the staff at OSBU, they will really work you through this. But you would want to partner with somebody, hopefully in that state, that is doing business and is registered in that state. That makes you more marketable in doing business with the Department of Energy that is located in that state. That doesn't preclude you from doing business with that company as long as you're registered as the federal government, because sometimes you don't physically need to be in that state to do business with the Department of Energy, because everything that you're going to be doing doesn't require a physical presence there. So there's a couple of ways to go about doing that. One of the major ways we always talk about is partnering, working with the mentor protege with a major company that knows how to get, that's probably located in multiple different states, is another way to get access to different locations where the Department of Energy is, even though you may have presence in 1 or 2 states, and yet there's opportunities in 5, 10, 15 that they may have access to.
Yo soy Doc Mayorga, presidente de la Cámara de Comercio de la Minoría de los Estados Unidos. Estamos aquí dentro del marco de las actividades CEO de las Américas en nuestra 20 edición. Y esta mañana está con nosotros el director, el Acting Director del Departamento de Pequeños Negocios, del Departamento de Energía del Gobierno de Estados Unidos. Para nosotros es un gran placer saludarlos a ustedes en esta porción en español que estoy hablándole, informándole a todos los que están en Latinoamérica, nuestro grato saludo desde la ciudad de Miami, aquí en el IBT Hotel. Y esta presentación es para una muestra, un botón, decimos en mi tierra puertorriqueña, donde enseñamos no solamente la capacidad de relaciones de alto perfil con el gobierno de Estados Unidos y el US Minority Chamber of Commerce. Hoy día están varios líderes importantes de nuestra comunidad aquí en el sur de la Florida, algunos de ellos miembros, otros invitados de honor. Para nosotros es un gran placer tenerlos a ellos acá. Pero usted que está en Latinoamérica, que está en Honduras, que está en Colombia, en Costa Rica, y otros que están viendo, quizás no estén viendo por razones conocidas. Muchas veces nuestro departamento técnico pues, no se prepara apropiadamente y le damos gracias a Dios por una compañía que nos está dando el backup para que usted pueda ver esta presentación. Pero esta presentación va a ser grabada y va a ser posted en nuestro programa de televisión que se va a producir desde Tegucigalpa, Honduras, en inglés. Minority TV. Minority TV semanalmente, todos los lunes de 8 de la mañana a 9, tiempo del este, estaremos hablando un poquito el tema de lo que significa la conferencia del CEO de las Américas. Y Mr. Paul Ross, que es el Acting Director del Departamento de Energía para Pequeños Negocios, nos ha hablado no solamente de la importancia de cómo hacer negocio, y yo le estoy preguntando a él si un pequeño negocio norteamericano que está en los Estados Unidos, esto no es para empresas latinoamericanas, pero usted aprenda, porque el día que usted venga a vivir en los Estados Unidos o establecer su negocio en los Estados Unidos, sepa que al hacer contratos y hacer negocio con el gobierno federal, listo, usted puede entrar a una avenida donde la Cámara de Comercio en sus 23 años de existencia ha tenido no solamente la experiencia, sino que ha tenido la colectividad, el honor de servir a sus miembros y a sus clientes en esta avenida. De nuevo, aquí reconstruir aquí en el sur de la Florida, el proceso del reinicio del US Minority Chamber of Commerce acá en Miami. Somos fuertes en Los Ángeles, somos fuertes en Washington DC y en otras partes de Latinoamérica, pero creemos que Miami, que fue nuestro fundamento inicial, vamos a reiniciar la parte de que las personas se tienen que ser contratistas para este proyecto de infraestructura que tiene el gobierno estadounidense. Para mí, for me, sir, I want to make other question. If I am Hispanic, Latino, but I am expert, very successful in my industry, but I don't handle very well the English. Do you have any portion in Spanish for your website and for your technical systems?
That's a good question. I have not had that question in the past in terms of the foreign languages and doing business with the Department of Energy. In our particular office, while we have a couple of people that do speak Spanish, they're not official Spanish translators. And I'm not, honestly speaking, I would be wrong to try to jump and say, oh yeah, we can do that. I don't want to, apply. But if you call our office and you speak to the customer support services and you pose that question, they're going to figure out a way to help you if you're Spanish speaking and being able to communicate what we do. And what locations within the huge Department of Energy might even be able to help you. For example, in Albuquerque, with one of our major locations with presence of the Department of Energy, that's Albuquerque. So, chances are you're going to have a great deal of Spanish-speaking people that, were able to help you in doing business with that area. So, honestly speaking, when it comes to other foreign languages, I would think that would be the same. Whether it's German, whether it's Asian languages or what have you, that would have to be a question that I would have to readdress or have addressed to the experts inside DOE in terms of that translation.
That's fabulous. The Chamber also, I want to inform you that the vision of this conference with the top public official from the federal government is to create a potential partnership and MOU to facilitate the understanding. We would like to provide that channel. The Chamber said its commitment to provide the resort through our call center that will be based in Tegucigalpa, Honduras. From Tegucigalpa, Honduras, we are going to facilitate bilingual staffing to provide to any person in America to call to a simple number, a toll-free number, international. And our call center of the Chamber that will be provided to our member only. Remember that we are a business association privately. We are private. We are not public funding. We are not government agency. We are not social chamber of commerce of little paper and reception and networking. No, that kind of chamber of commerce, the U.S. Minority Chamber is not involved. We involve strictly in economic development for a member and partner. Any member obtain the username, password, and they can call to any time, 12 hours, Monday to Friday, for any issue related to the federal government contracting opportunity, how to do business with the federal government contracting opportunity. Other questions, sir? Particular, you are in the area of energy, but if someone, they want to provide to the office, for example, it's a national cleaning company, they have a cleaning services, so they would like to be part, to compete in the cleaning service. That company can compete in that area that is not normally in the policy of the U.S. Department of the Energy to hire.
So I want to make sure that I understand your question. We've got a company that wants to compete in cleaning services. With that portion right there, let's assume that you want to compete and utilize your services to do business with the Department of Energy as cleaning or buildings. We have multiple buildings throughout the United States.
How many is it in the department?
Oh my, oh man, we're talking about some that I don't even know they're on the list because they're classified. You know, where we're talking about a bunker, baby. I don't know where the bunkers are, for example. And I don't have access to those bunkers.
Okay, the bunker
For the president. Man. So we're talking. Yeah, we're talking about bunkers that, you know, some of them are not even used. So the number of buildings, but we're talking about a multitude of buildings, whether they're large, small. We have the, you know, we're talking about Western Power Administration, for example, that's based out of in multiple different locations that cover like about 5 different states. That they have, you know, even out in the woods where they're, you know, running lines or doing whatever they do. So those number of buildings and sites and locations, but we do have support services for cleaning these buildings, maintaining it. It's contracted out. A lot of it isn't federal employees that are cleaning it. We do the contract. You know, so it's amazing what might be available, but the opportunities are mainly in subcontracting. So if you have that lab in that location, that local contractor may have somebody running this, for example, like this hotel. Mm-hmm. They might be contracting to run this hotel, then they will subcontract somebody to clean it. So that's where we in our OSDBU office will help you understand and the point of contact for that location or area you might be interested in, or even that different services, whether it is a power administration or it's an M&O, or if it is a cleanup site, or just a general office.
If I accomplish with my goal to be registered with the U.S. Department of Energy through beta, SAM/beta.gov, and when I receive the authorization as a vendor, I need to be a certified AA with the Small Business Administration?
Well, there's different social economic categories.
Okay.
And if you want to do business as a small disadvantaged business firm, you self-certify. Okay. Now, some of the certifications kind of change. For 8A, you have to be certified by SBA. And when you go into beta.sam.gov, as you were referring to, you go in and you fill out all the information, and then you will self-certify. And then there's multiple different, I don't want to say certifications, but I'm going to say that, for example, hub zone. The states are now being able to increase where a hub zone is, you know, an underutilized area, in the self-certification, and also the certification that that the governors have basically been able to designate as a hub zone area. But definitely start with the beta.sam.gov. Also, when you're talking about doing business with the federal government as opposed to just doing business with the Department of Energy, I strongly encourage you to look at the Small Business Administration, SBA's website, sba.gov. Just put that in there, sba.gov. You got a wealth of information that can help you with other agencies and the basic registration to do business with the federal government.
But to go to your PI, I need to go to the Small Business Administration to get the authorization.
Yeah, when you're talking about certifications in terms of, for example, the one that just changed as a veteran, the service disabled veteran.
Right.
Okay, if you're a veteran and you served and now you have a business, that used to be operated by the Veterans Administration. Now SBA is taking over that type of certification to make sure that it's a valid veteran and somebody's not trying to just, you know, pose themselves.
So
but SBA.
In other words, I get the vendor registration with the federal government, and to go, the next step is to go to SBA to get the certification to do business with your agency, correct?
Let me just say this.
Yeah.
When you go into beta.sam.gov,
Right.
there are certain social economic categories you self-certify. You don't need to go to
So I
SBA.
need to go to SBA.
You don't
That
need-
is my
Right.
answer that I'm looking
Right,
for.
right.
Question. I prepare everything. I qualify. I have all the indication as a minority business zone, or woman business zone, or veteran, or disabled, or anything. What is the next step? When you announce some contracting opportunity, I receive it, but I am not a technician. I know economy strategy to present my bid and compete. What is your suggestion for small business to understand the bid of the U.S. Department of Energy?
Okay, that's a good question, okay? Because we have leaped from becoming registered to trying to do business with the Department of Energy.
Right.
And if you haven't done business with the Department of Energy or you haven't done business with the federal government, I recommend you contact SBA. Because when you talk about submitting a bid, there's a certain way to submit a bid. If you don't submit it that way, it's going to be thrown out. So who can help you with that? SBA can help you with understanding the general doing business with the federal government. And they have an organization called PTAC, which is PTAC. You've heard of PTAC.
Procurement Technical Assistant.
And they will sit you
I know very well.
They will sit
Yeah.
you down and say, okay, let's talk about
Right.
how to submit a bid. Let's talk about if they say limit 30 pages, don't give them 32. If they tell you they need to know pricing and technical and your experience, you have to know how to read those RFPs and RFQs, request for proposal, request for quotation, and how to answer those. That is key right off the bat, because a lot of times a small business is used to doing business maybe with certain firms, and they think that the way that they put that proposal together for one opportunity is the way they should do it because they want it. That's not the case with the federal government. You have to be able to read the solicitation to understand the way Department of Energy does business is not the same way the Veterans Administration does
Right.
business. So PTAC is very good at that because they have so many different people in PTAC from all these multiple different agencies that can kind of help. And if they don't have the expertise, PTAC gets on the phone and starts talking to the Department of Energy. Look, I need to understand a little bit more about how you do business because, and as a matter of fact, we're going to do an event. Can you come and give a presentation to our PTAC representatives so they can help the small businesses? PTAC is very key to understanding how to do business with the federal government.
Para informarles, está con nosotros el señor Paul Rose. Él es el Acting Director del Departamento de Energía del Gobierno estadounidense. Quiero traducir en español lo que hemos estado hablando en las últimas preguntas. Particularmente esta última pregunta se basa a lo que justamente si usted quiere competir con el gobierno de Estados Unidos, el Departamento de Energía tiene que utilizar el sistema de /beta Globe del gobierno estadounidense para que usted se registre. El registro para tener ese protocolo es muy importante que usted entienda los puntos donde usted esté demográficamente establecido. Si usted es mujer, clasifíquese como una empresa de mujer. Si usted es hispano, clasifíquese como la categoría de Minority Business Zone, de empresa dueño de minoría. Para nosotros también es muy importante informarle que una vez que usted pase el proceso de registro dentro de beta, ya usted automáticamente puede competir sin necesidad de entrar a Small Business Administration. Directamente puede competir con ellos. Y cuando vienen los contratos que le llegan con el Revenue Contract Alert de parte del registro que usted hizo con SAN/beta.gov del gobierno, B de vaca al final, por supuesto, B de Víctor, y es muy importante informarle y notificarle que la Cámara, a través de sus 23 años, ha sido experta en contrataciones federales. No solamente en contrataciones federales, sino en certificaciones, en conectividad y entrenar a la persona en español cómo hacer el proceso. Porque como usted ha escuchado, Mr. Ross, no existe en este momento la avenida de muchas veces tener la particular de español, pero nosotros vamos a tener español, portugués, hebreo e inglés. Muy importante que usted entienda la multicapacidad de la Cámara que vamos a tener a través de nuestros diferentes escenarios de comunicaciones. Es un modelo inteligente, preciso, sin necesidad de que usted se envuelva en procesos burocráticos. PTA. ¿Quiénes son PTA? Son los Procurement Technical Assistants. Son agencias semiprivadas que le sirven al gobierno de Estados Unidos a través de una regalía, a través de grants, y esos grants reciben para asistir, educar y preparar a cualquier empresa de pequeño negocio que pueda competir con el gobierno de Estados Unidos. Pero no es lo mismo ni se escribe igual. Cuando usted en español no entiende algunos temas importantes, use la plataforma de la Cámara de Comercio de la mayoría de los Estados Unidos, asóciese con nosotros y tome la ventaja que representa nuestra operación, no solamente aquí en Miami, sino en Washington, Los Ángeles y muy pronto en la ciudad de Orlando y Dallas-Fort Worth. Nosotros personalmente no solamente lo vamos a dar de la mano, sino que lo vamos a entrenar para que usted pueda venderse bien, porque el que se vende bien a través no solamente del precio y a través de todos los compliance en inglés quiere decir regulaciones, y a todos los procesos que tiene el gobierno federal para usted hacer negocio. Cuando usted obtiene el primer contrato, descanse, que usted ya se sacó el sueño de América. El sueño de América no es tener una casa, comprar una casa. El sueño de América es tener un contrato con el gobierno de Estados Unidos. Pero voy a continuar con la siguiente pregunta, pero antes de la pregunta voy a preguntarle aquí en nuestro escenario de participantes. ¿Alguna pregunta que haya de ustedes que quieran hacer a Mr. Ross, por favor?
I do.
Yeah, okay, please, be my guest, sir.
Okay. So, grants is something that's really exciting. Like, all like the small business, I always try to find a way to have like access for the grants. I know that's not easy. You need to go for like a lot of forms. Like when I say a lot, like a lot of forms. Normally, you need to hire someone to write like a formal solicitation for a grant, because I strongly recommend for any business to have someone on top that know what they're doing. My first question for you regarding like the grants, because you told about grants and you recommend for us to go through SBA to have that, but a couple of times SBA handling so many situations on the field for grants and to support like the small business, that they don't have like all of the knowledge about like how apply specifically for the Department of like Energy. And are there like a tutorial or like something that highlights for the people how they should like even guide SBA to have them to have access for this grant? That's my first question.
Okay, so the understanding about grants, and inside the Department of Energy, we also refer to it as cooperative agreements.
Right.
And we have a department that runs it basically called financial assistance. So we have all this different terminology. But right off the bat, SBA, while they help small businesses, they're really into the appropriated side of the house with taxpayers' funds, for the most part, with contracts and not so much grants. I'm not saying that SBA can't help you with grants, but when it comes to the Department of Energy, I would encourage you, if you want to know about grants, contact our office. Because our office will put you in contact with the grant people that can help you walk through understanding grants. We also have the SBIR, STTR, and I'm not going to try to mess up that acronym by explaining what it is, but they will give you assistance with competing for grants, to the point of maybe travel, technical assistance, and this is time and money that they spend on helping you understand how to do grants and walk you through that, and giving you assistance even financially to help you with the grants inside the Department of Energy. Now, when it comes to the SBIR, STTR, and that's what basically I'm going to try to do it anyway, Small Business Innovative Research, and then Small Business Technology, the STTR, Small Business Technology, whatever. Okay, I'm not going to try to get into really explaining what those different acronyms are, but it's an innovative portion of small businesses that have a great idea. Hey, I got this new electric battery. I want to market it to the federal government. How do I help market it to the federal government? SBIR, STTR, contact our office. We'll put you in contact with those people, and they will even help you identify that is a marketable, and even help you market it in terms of it becoming an available product for the federal government or the general public. So that's where I start with the Department of Energy as far as grants are concerned. Now, as far as grants are concerned for the rest of the federal government, that's where people are saying maybe go to SBTA or go to an agency that may have grants. But there's always that location where they make announcements for grants. Doesn't tell you how to compete for grants, but there may be some links on there that can help you. Grants.gov.
Grants.gov.
Yeah.
Yeah, grant.gov is the perfect avenue to dealing with the United States government in the grant scenario. In the grant scenario, when you go to the grant.gov, it's a short process. It's not complex like sound.gov, but you need to get the 501c3. If you are a private business, like a consultant or any economic development agency, or your company provides some education program, you can get to grant.gov. You don't need to be a 501c3, and you can compete as a contractor or as a grantee. I think so that the most important in the grant portion is a good position for your company, because they can provide the funding for any particular innovation program. In your particular case, you can provide to the community for free, because you have the funding to provide for free the education program in innovation. The other opportunity that you can have also that is very important with the private sector, the philanthropic organization.
Right.
Not the federal government, but the philanthropic organization and the large institution that they will love to be part of the project, like Google, Facebook, all those companies, they have a different program that you can be contractors or you can be grantee for different funding that they have available.
Okay. Now that was like exactly my second question about with the grants. Probably, most probably grants are related with technology or like improvement for energy, right? But there is fields such like educational that could be like a way to have access for grants from the Department of Energy as well, right? To make it like my final question, if like a company that's a non-profit company comes to the Department of like Energy with a request, exactly applying for a grant for educational fundings, is that a possible like on your point of view or not?
And here's what I would have to say about grants, and not to misdirect you, is to, and you're going to hear me say this over and over again if you ask, and that is to contact our office, where we have experts that know how to get in contact with the multitude of experts for various different disciplines. And grants is not one that we talk a lot about. And they will put you in contact with the experts inside DOE that deal with grants and cooperative agreements. And so with the grants.gov and the announcements are where they make those announcements for opportunities for grants or cooperative agreements in the case of the Department of Energy. So I would say that even if you're talking about for some educational grants, that if you're trying to deal with just the Department of Energy, let's just limit it to that, contact our office, set up a meeting. The customer support people will speak to you, give you points of contact for grants and cooperative agreements. Because most people that are calling, small businesses, are not calling for grants and cooperative agreements. They're basically calling for opportunities for major contracts and subcontracting. So when we do get calls about grants and cooperative agreements and what type of grants are out there right now, we put them in touch with the grants and cooperative agreement type people and the website that make these announcements that here's what we're looking for in order to make a grant. So that's what I would encourage anyone to do in terms of when it's grants, cooperative agreements. And I know you asked a specific question about a specific grant, but I would like to say it is best that you go and contact the experts that know about the different opportunities that are in grants and cooperative agreements and how often they come up as an opportunity for you to get a grant or cooperative agreement for a designated, discipline.
Right.
Muy importante que ustedes sepan, estamos con el señor Paul Rhodes, estamos discutiendo un punto sobre regalías, grants. Nosotros en la Cámara de Comercio, en lo mío personal, que es en mi compañía privada, nosotros abrimos fundaciones, abrimos instituciones sin fines de lucro acá en los Estados Unidos, o empresas americanas o profesionales o líderes comunitarios que desean establecer sus 5013, pero estar preparados para competir a los grants, no solamente el Departamento de Energía, sino el Departamento de Defensa. Personalmente yo hoy le voy a mandar a nuestro líder que hizo la pregunta, le voy a mandar un link respecto a dónde encontrar los grants que anuncia el Departamento de Energía para facilitarle este proceso. Nosotros pues queremos darle gracias al señor Paul Rose por la oportunidad de estar con nosotros. En la mañana de hoy, a las 12 del mediodía, tenemos al vicepresidente del US Chamber of Commerce en una entrevista exclusiva y una potencia alianza con el Chamber. En las próximas 2 semanas yo estaré en Washington firmando un memorando de entendimiento con toda la junta directiva del US Chamber para facilitar la conectividad internacional, facilitar a la comunidad hispana, la entrada a la comunidad hispana y de minorías a sectores de las grandes compañías norteamericanas. Lo mismo que es bien importante que usted sepa cómo competir en el acuerdo de ley, que hay 2.000 proyectos recientes, listos, lanzados para que están buscando contratistas y subcontratistas para este proyecto. On behalf of the United States Minority Chamber of Commerce, sir, thank you for the opportunity to be with us. It's a big honor, it's a big privilege. And tonight we have a beautiful party, and in the evening we have recognition, a special recognition as the public official for the excellence in the federal government, Mr. Paul Rose. Thank you, sir, Mr. Rose, for the opportunity, and I keep in touch with you. Please stay in the line, and we come back in 40 minutes. This is Doc Mayorga from the United States Minority Chamber of Commerce. We are part of the CEO of Las Américas, la edición 20 of the Chamber. See you later.